Hello, this is Earl Purdy, and I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles. Hardcore Course in Miracles here on Facebook Live. And today we're going to dispel any beliefs that you might have about your thoughts having no power, that your thoughts and beliefs have no effect. We want to open you up to getting in touch with how powerful your thoughts are, your beliefs are, in terms of how you are experiencing your experience and how to let yourself have more power and to actually change what you're seeing and what you are experiencing through the Course in Miracles. And in order to let us get really tuned in, we're going to do some music from Brother John Christmas at johnchristmas.com, and it's called Teach Only Love. And what I want to invite you to do while I'm sharing some of this is to bring your attention in, take deep breaths, relax, and focus. So breathe with me and listen. Teach only love, that is what you are. Only love, yes, that is what you are. Teach only love, that is what you are. Teach only love, everywhere you go. Teach only love, to everyone you know. Teach only love, love is what you are. Hey, yeah, let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Let me recognize the problem so the problem can be solved. Teach only love, each and every day. Teach only love, in your special way. Teach only love, love is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. Teach only love, for that is what you are. I'm Earl Purdy. I want to welcome you to Hardcore Course in Miracles. I've been a teacher and a student of A Course in Miracles for over 43 years and have been doing it full time for over 35 years. So I'm here to be truly helpful. And we're going to do lesson 16 in the Course in Miracles workbook. And that lesson is, you have no neutral thoughts. We're going to be doing the Course in Miracles from the perspective of how you can get rid of any beliefs that you might have about your thoughts not being powerful and your thoughts not having any real effect. This is hardcore, and if you have your Course in Miracles book, the Foundation for Inner Peace version, then I want you to go to lesson 16, and lesson 16 is on page 26 in the workbook of A Course in Miracles. It's 3 books in one, and you want to go to lesson 16, which is I have no neutral thoughts. Now I'm going to give you the guidelines for A Course in Miracles that the Course in Miracles gives for those of you who want to have the right attitude in doing what the Course in Miracles is suggesting so that you can have miracles in your life. Aren't you tired? Aren't you tired? Don't you want to allow yourself to be helped by Spirit? Don't you want to be helped by God, by the higher power? Aren't you tired of trying to figure out everything by yourself? Don't you want to have help? The Course in Miracles is trying to teach you and teach me how to let ourselves be helped by our higher power. It's a spiritual teaching. It's a spiritual teaching. It's a spiritual teaching. The Course in Miracles is a spiritual teaching. It's a practical application of spiritual principles. And most of all, letting yourself absolutely be helped and taken care of by the higher power. That's what we want to do. I don't know about you, but that's what I want to do. Aren't you tired of feeling like you got to try to handle everything all by yourself all the time? You got to figure out everything. And the Course in Miracles says that's not something that has to happen. But you have to be willing to learn how to look at things another way. So how do you do it? Well, the Course in Miracles says, look, well, let me give you the guidelines so that you can do it right. I'm so happy that you're here with me, mighty companions. Well, the first thing to do, in order to really hear this, the Course in Miracles says the first thing you need to do is recognize that you don't have to believe the ideas, you don't have to accept the ideas, you don't have to welcome the ideas. Some of the ideas you might actively resist. Some of the ideas you will find hard to believe. Some of the ideas you might find quite startling. Do you know that you're not being asked to analyze the ideas at all? You're not being asked to analyze the ideas at all, judge the ideas at all. So how do you know if these ideas work? The Course in Miracles says the way that you know these ideas work is through the use of the ideas. That the use of the ideas will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. So how does the Course in Miracles say that you change your mind? How do you change your mind? Well, it says that you change your mind through giving yourself a new idea and then repeating it to yourself over and over and over again. That the easiest way for you to accept a new idea and to change your mind is to get the new idea and repeat it over and over again. And so that's why I call myself the divine repetition teacher, because I teach the Course in Miracles the way that the Course in Miracles says it should be taught. So it's really about remembering and practicing. So this is about the practical application of the Course in Miracles, not about the analyzation of a Course in Miracles. Do you want a miracle? Do you need a healing in some area of your life right now? Do you need happiness? Okay, well, here we go. So how do you know the Course in Miracles works? Well, it says, well, it's the use of the ideas that will give the ideas meaning to you and will show you that the ideas are true. So we on lesson 16 in the Course in Miracles workbook. I have no neutral thoughts on page 26. Page 26. I'm so glad to be here with you. I'm especially glad to be here with serious and sincere students of A Course in Miracles, because we can go deep. So like I said, the Course in Miracles says it's through repetition. So I teach using a lot of repetition, and I teach in a question and answer format. So I'd like to ask you right now, and it's so good to see you. I'd like to ask you right now, I'd like to ask you to take a deep breath. I'm not going to analyze the Course in Miracles. If there's anybody that's watching me, I've done this for 40 years, and analyzing the Course in Miracles is the biggest waste of time that we could use for this session, okay? It's about what is it telling us, and then will we do what we're being told? So I take the Course in Miracles very slowly, and I take the Course in Miracles line by line. So here we go. So I'd like for you to say to yourself right now, I have no neutral thoughts. I have no neutral thoughts. You don't have any neutral thoughts. You don't have any neutral thoughts. You do not have any neutral thoughts. None of your thoughts are neutral. None of your beliefs are neutral. None of your thoughts are neutral. That thought you're having right now, that's not a neutral thought. That thought about that situation that you're dealing with right now, That thought that you're dealing with about that situation that you're dealing with right now, that thought is not a neutral thought. So listen to me very carefully. Let yourself hear this. I'm so glad to see you here with me. So what is the idea for today? The idea is you have no neutral thoughts. So what is that? It's a beginning step. So would you like to have a beginning step? But it's a beginning step in dispelling the belief that your thoughts don't have any effects. You got to get rid of that idea that your thoughts and beliefs are not having any kind of results, that your thoughts and beliefs are not having any kind of effects. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to say something, and I'm going to say it at least a couple of minutes. So what are we trying to do? We're trying to dispel your belief and my belief that your thoughts and your beliefs don't have any real effect. That's the biggest mistake you could make, is to think that your thoughts and your beliefs don't have any effects or any beliefs. So I'm going to give you a very powerful universal law from A Course in Miracles. Are you ready? And I'm so glad you're here with me. So here we go. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Anything you see is the result of your thoughts. What you are seeing right now is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. So what is determining what you see? Your thoughts. Everything you see in your relationship is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see on your job is the result of your thoughts. Everything that you see, anything that you see, anything that you see, everything you see is the result of your thoughts. And you could also take it to another level if you really want to get deep about it. You could take it to another level and you could say, everything you feel is the result of your thoughts. Everything you feel is the result of your thoughts. Everything you feel is the result of your thoughts. Everything you feel is the result of your thoughts. Everything you are feeling right now, everything you are feeling, what you are feeling right now about this situation that you're dealing with is the result of your thoughts. So you want to say to yourself, everything I see is the result of my thoughts. Say that to yourself. Everything I see is the result of my thoughts. And that's true about everything you perceive. Everything you hear is the result of your thoughts. Everything you hear is the result of your thoughts. Everything you feel in this situation is the result of your thoughts. Everything you feel, everything you see is the result of your thoughts. So what's the truth about that? What does the next line say? There is no exception to this fact. What fact? That everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Your financial situation as you see it is the result of your thoughts. Your relationship situation as you see it is the result of your thoughts. Your health situation as you see it is the result of your thoughts. What's going on in your day-to-day experience, the way you experience it, is the result of your thoughts. Because what did I say? What did the Course in Miracles say at the very beginning? This lesson, this idea, is a beginning step in dispelling the belief that your thoughts have no effect. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. There is no exception according to A Course in Miracles. There is no exception. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. So what is the truth about thoughts? Okay, so what does the Course in Miracles tell us about our thoughts? What is it that it tells us next? It says thoughts are not big, so you don't have big thoughts. Thoughts are not little. Thoughts are not big. Thoughts are not little. Thoughts are not powerful. Did you know thoughts are not powerful? Do you realize that thoughts are not powerful and that thoughts are not weak? So what are thoughts? If your thoughts are not, if a thought is not big, and if a thought is not little, and if a thought is not powerful, and if a thought is not weak, there's no such thing as a weak thought. There's no such thing as a powerful thought. There is no such thing as a little thought. There is no such thing as a big thought. So what are thoughts? Your thoughts are either true or your thoughts are false. So does that mean you don't have a big thought, a little thought, that you don't have a weak thought, and you don't have a powerful thought? The truth is, every thought that you're having right now, every thought that you're having, every thought that you have, and every thought that anyone else has, every thought that you have, and every thought that anyone else has, that thought is either true or that thought is either false. So therefore, every thought that you have, do you know that every thought that you have, do you realize that every thought that you're having right now, do you know that every thought and belief that's going on in your head, in your mind right now, that the only thing that you're having right now, do you know the kinds of thoughts that you're having right now? Or what kind of thoughts? You're having either true thoughts or false thoughts. You're either thinking something that's true or you're thinking something that's false. You're either thinking something that's true or you're thinking something that's false. You're either thinking something that is true right now, or you're thinking something that's false right now. Are you with me? This is the truth. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. You don't have big thoughts and you don't have little thoughts. You don't have powerful thoughts and you don't have weak thoughts. Either what you're telling yourself right now through your thinking is true, or what you're telling yourself right now through your thinking is false. Either what you're telling yourself about what's going on in your life right now, in that situation that we know, you know what I'm talking about, that situation that you're thinking about, that situation that's been on your mind, you're either having thoughts about that situation that are true, or you're having thoughts about that situation that's false. You're either having thoughts about that relationship that's true, or you're having thoughts about that relationship that's false. You're either having thoughts about yourself that's true, or you're having thoughts about yourself that's false. You're having thoughts about that person that's true, or you're having thoughts about that person that's false. You're having thoughts about that physical condition that you're dealing with that's true, or you're having thoughts about that physical condition that you're dealing with that's false. You're either having thoughts about your financial situation that's true, or you're having thoughts about your financial situation that's false. You either have thoughts about yourself that's true, or you're having thoughts about yourself that's false. You either having thoughts about God that's true, or you having thoughts about your creator that's false. You're either having thoughts that are true, or you're having thoughts that are false. Now, what's the characteristic of a thought that is true? Well, if you're having a thought that is true, thoughts that are true create in their own likeness. So true thoughts create true thoughts. True thoughts create true thoughts. Loving thoughts create loving thoughts. Loving thoughts create loving thoughts. True thoughts create true thoughts. But thoughts that are false, thoughts that are not true, they make thoughts that are not true. So what are you telling me, Earl? I'm telling you that, for instance, thoughts of love are thoughts that are true. Thoughts of love are thoughts that are true. Thoughts of love and freedom and peace, those are thoughts that are true. So does that mean that thoughts of love and peace and God and freedom and spirit create more of themselves, and thoughts that are just like themselves? Yes. Now remember, everything you see is what? It's the result of your thoughts. You don't have big thoughts, you don't have little thoughts, you don't have powerful thoughts, you don't have weak thoughts. You just have thoughts that are true and thoughts that are not. Your thoughts that are true, these thoughts create more thoughts that are true. But if you have a bunch of thoughts that are not true, they also make thoughts that are not true. So according to the Course, how can you tell when you're thinking a thought that's not really a true thought, that's not really a real thought? By the way you feel. So if you're thinking a thought that is a false thought, then a false thought gives you feelings of fear and conflict and worry and concern and upset. If you're thinking a thought that is true, according to A Course in Miracles, you're thinking a thought that is loving, peaceful, freeing, a thought that is eternal, a thought that gives you freedom. So thoughts that are true create more thoughts that are true. Thoughts that are false make more and more false thoughts. Do you know that there is no more self-contradictory concept than the concept that there's a such thing as idle thoughts? There is no such thing as having an idle thought. You never have idle thoughts. No matter what your thoughts are never idle. There is no such thing as an idle thought. I will say, this is what the Course is saying. There's no such thing as an idle thought. There's no such thing as you having a thought that's not having some kind of effect on you. There's no such thing as having an idle thought. So when you say you have idle thoughts, that's a self-contradictory concept. So why is it that you could never have idle thoughts? See, you never have to analyze and figure out what the Course in Miracles is talking about, because the Course in Miracles explains itself as it goes along. So if you are reading A Course in Miracles and you're wondering what something means, then you just keep on reading and it will explain itself, rather than you stopping when you read something in A Course in Miracles and then you try to give it your own interpretation of what it means. So there's no more self-contradictory concept than the concept of you having idle thoughts, because what gives rise to the perception of a whole world could hardly be called idle. If your whole world is coming from your thoughts, then there's no way you could be saying you have idle thoughts, because what gives rise to the perception of a whole world cannot be called idle. The whole world that you're looking at is coming from your thoughts. Your perceptions are coming from your thoughts. Your perceptions are your thoughts. Your perceptions are your thoughts. Everything that you're seeing and how you see it is coming from your thoughts. Everything you see and how you see it is coming from your thoughts. Everything that you feel and how you feel it is coming from your thoughts. So that means that your thoughts could not possibly be idle if your thoughts are giving you the perception of the whole world and giving you the perception of that situation that you're in right now. So what does that mean? Well, it means every thought that you have is either contributing to something that's true, or every thought that you have is contributing to illusion, something that's not true. That means every thought that you have is contributing to your love, to love and peace for you, or it means that every thought that you're having right now about that situation is contributing to you having some type of fear or anger or upset or illusion. So either what you're thinking right now is extending the truth and the peace and the love in this situation and in your life, or the thoughts that you're having right now are multiplying your fears. Your thinking is either multiplying your fear, your upset, your anger right now, or your thoughts are multiplying the truth and the happiness and the freedom and the peace right now. Do you know that a lot of people think that what they're seeing is coming from something outside of themselves or from someone else? The truth is, the way you are seeing things and how you're feeling about things and the peace that you're having right now or the conflict that you're having right now is coming from you either thinking thoughts that are loving and true, or you thinking thoughts that are full of fear and thoughts that are false and full of conflict. That that is where the feeling that you're having right now is coming from. So if you might be dealing with a situation right now in your life, I'm going to say to you again, the feelings that you're having right now, those feelings are not coming from that situation that you're in right now. I know it can seem like it's a challenging situation that you might be perceiving right now or experiencing right now, but the way that you're feeling right now, it is coming from thoughts that you're having right now. And the thoughts that you're having right now, they are either those thoughts are either extending truth, or those thoughts that you're having right now are multiplying your fears, which the Course in Miracles calls illusions. So you can indeed multiply nothing. You can multiply your fears, and you can multiply your worries about this situation that you're dealing with right now. Or understand that when you do that, see, the only thing that's real is love. The only thing that's real is love. The only thing that's real is your spiritual identity. The only thing that's real is your true divine being. The only thing that's true is your spirit. The only thing that's true is love. The only thing that's true is happiness. The only thing that's true is peace. If you are seeing anything other than that, it's coming from your thoughts. And so the Course in Miracles calls it nothing. Because according to the Course in Miracles, the only thing that can last is love. The only thing that can last is unity. The only thing that can last is peace, prosperity, abundance, oneness, our spiritual identity. And so the Course in Miracles defines anything other than God, anything other than love, as an illusion. That means it is not something that's permanent. When the Course in Miracles says something is an illusion, it doesn't mean that you're not experiencing it at a physical level as some form of joy or some form of pain. It's saying that if it's not eternal, if it does not last, if it's not permanent, then it's not real. That from a Course in Miracles perspective, the only thing that's real is something that lasts, something that you can always depend on, something that's always going to be there, something that's bringing you joy, and something that's bringing you peace. That is what the Course in Miracles defines as real. So if you're going to have peace, if you're going to have happiness, if you're going to have right-mindedness, if you're going to have forgiveness, if you're going to have what the good stuff that the Course in Miracles promises, then besides recognizing that thoughts are never idle, your thoughts are never idle, then what is it that you need to recognize? Well, your thoughts are never idle. They are producing your perception of this situation that you're dealing with right now. But you Are you willing to recognize that every thought you have is bringing you either peace or it's bringing you war? Either love or fear. So I'm going to say it again. Every thought that you have is bringing you love, or every thought that you have is bringing you fear. Any thought that you have is bringing you love, and any thought that you have is bringing you fear. Any belief that you have is bringing you love and giving you love, or any belief that you have is giving you fear. Any belief or thought that you have is either bringing you peace or that thought is bringing you war. So what is it that's impossible for you to have? What is it that's impossible for you to have? In this situation that you're in right now, in that relationship that you're in right now, it is impossible that you have a neutral result. Everything is neutral, but you can never have a neutral way of feeling or looking at it. For instance, you look at your child, and your child would be something that you might feel a lot of love, and you might feel that child is very special to you. But someone who doesn't know your child may not mean anything to them. They may love their child, they may have thoughts of love about their child, but they may not have any thoughts of love about your child. So your child is really neutral, right? Your child is neutral, but no one has a neutral attitude towards your child. So either when they look at your child, looking at your child, it either gives them some form of peace, or looking at your child gives them some form of fear. In other words, it's impossible for you to have a neutral result, because it's impossible for you to have a neutral thought. So what is it you need to tell yourself right now about that situation that you're in, or that situation or circumstance that you're dealing with right now? Tell yourself what? Tell yourself, it's impossible that I'm having a neutral thought about this situation. It's impossible that I'm having a neutral thought about this situation. Tell yourself it's impossible that I am having a neutral thought about this circumstance that I'm dealing with right now. It's impossible that I'm having a neutral thought about this situation or circumstance that I am in right now, which means it's impossible for me to have a neutral result. It's impossible for you to have a neutral result. So what kind of temptation do we have? The Course in Miracles says, well, we have the kind of temptation. We sometimes dismiss our fearful thoughts, and sometimes we dismiss our ego thoughts and our anger thoughts, our thoughts of anger and thoughts of fear and thoughts of conflict. Sometimes we tell ourselves, oh, those thoughts of fear, those thoughts of guilt, those thoughts of anger about this situation, that fear I'm having about this situation is unimportant. This thought of fear and upset that I'm having about this person, he said sometimes we have a temptation to dismiss those thoughts as not worth bothering about. In other words, the Course in Miracles says that we think negative thoughts, fearful thoughts, and weary thoughts, and thoughts of weary and thoughts of upset, but we'll say to ourselves, that's not really that important, that's trivial. The way that I think doesn't really have any real effect on what's going on in this situation or in my life. And the Course in Miracles says there's one thing that you need to understand, that it's essential that you recognize that your thoughts of fear, your thoughts of anger, your thoughts of grievances, your thoughts of worry and foreboding, it's essential that you recognize that all these thoughts are equally destructive. These thoughts are equally destructive to your peace, but these thoughts are also equally unreal. So a thought of fear is not a real thought. The thought of fear is not real. Why is the thought of fear not real? The thought of fear isn't real because it's not permanent. There's no such thing as someone being afraid always for eternity. There's no such thing as someone being angry and sick forever. There's no such thing as someone being sad and wearying and forever. And the Course in Miracles says the only thing that's real is what lasts forever. And love and truth last forever. But what happens if you have those thoughts of anger? What happens with those unforgiving thoughts? What happens with those grievances that you might be having in this situation that you're thinking about? Well, the Course in Miracles says to us that that's a destructive thought. So thoughts of anger, fear, and guilt that you're having about this situation is a destructive thought. Yeah, it's destructive to your peace. It's destructive to your peace. So it's destructive to your peace, but your thoughts of fear are not real. Your thoughts of worry and fear are not real. Your thoughts of lack and poverty are not real. Your thoughts of jealousy, your thoughts of insecurity, your thoughts of being separate from God, your thoughts of being separate from all that is, your thoughts of being alone, those thoughts are not real. What that means is those thoughts are not permanent. Aren't you glad that your thoughts of fear are not permanent? Aren't you glad that any thoughts of worry and concern that you might be having right now, these thoughts are not permanent? And to be real, they would have to be permanent. So what do we need to do with this idea that you have no neutral thoughts? What do we need to do with that idea that you have no neutral feelings or thoughts? Well, you need to practice this idea. You need to practice this idea that you have no neutral thoughts in many forms before you really understand that you really don't have any neutral thoughts. You need to practice the idea that you don't have any neutral thoughts in a lot of different ways. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this lesson that you have no neutral thoughts? Because this is a beginning step in dispelling your belief that your thoughts do not have any real power, any real effects. We're trying to get rid of the thought that you might have that your thoughts are not determining everything that you see and everything that you feel. Take it slow. Take it slow. Take it slow. So what are we going to do to apply this idea that you have no neutral thoughts? This is what the Course in Miracles is asking you to do right now. If you're able to do it, close your eyes. But if you're not able to do it, of course, if it's not safe for you to do that right now, don't close your eyes. But what do you want to do with your mind right now? You want to search your mind. So what are you going to be looking for in your thinking? What is it that you're going to be looking for in your mind? I want you to search your mind for a minute. Search your mind for a minute, and try not to overlook any little thought that you're having in your mind. Try not to overlook any belief or any thought that you're having right now. So you see me, I'm closing my eyes, and I'm searching my mind for any of the thoughts that I'm having right now. Because if you're having any kind of thought right now about anything, then that's a suitable subject. That's a suitable thought. So unless your mind is completely blank, which it isn't, you know it isn't, then whatever that thought is that you're thinking right now, whether that thought is about a person, a place, a thing, a situation, a circumstance that you're going through right now, I want you to try to not overlook any little thought that may tend to elude your search. Now, this might be difficult until you get used to it. Even though we think things all the time, when someone tells us to think about the things we think, then sometimes it looks like our thoughts disappear, and then we'll say to ourselves, I don't really have anything that I'm really thinking about. Well, that's a thought. Telling yourself that you don't really have anything to think about. Well, that's a thought, right? Do you know at the beginning you might find it difficult to not make artificial differences and artificial distinctions. So what do you want to do? Every thought that occurs to you, you know the thought that you're having about that relationship. Do you know that thought that you're having about that circumstance that you're dealing with? And you know what that circumstance is. You know that thought that you're having about that relationship. You know that thought you're having about your spiritual growth in your relationship to spirit. You know that thought that you're having about what's going on at work. And you know those thoughts that you're having about what's going on politically in the world situation. Whatever climate change, whatever the thoughts are that you're having right now, regardless of the qualities that you assign to that thought, regardless of the qualities, whether you see it as big or whether you see it as little, or whether you see what you're thinking about as something that's really important and something that's really unimportant. But that thought, what you're thinking right now, is going to be a suitable subject. What you're thinking right now is a suitable subject. What you're thinking right now. You know what you are thinking about that situation and circumstance that's giving you the feelings that you're having right now. And you want to apply the idea. You want to apply the idea for today that you have no neutral thoughts. You have no neutral feelings. You have no neutral thoughts. So what do? What is the first thing that you do to practice this lesson? What is the first thing that you do to practice this exercise? The first thing you do is repeat the idea to yourself. Repeat the idea to yourself. I have no neutral thoughts. 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 I do not have any neutral thoughts. I do not have any neutral thoughts. I do not have any neutral thoughts. And then it's each thought crosses your mind. As each thought crosses your mind, you want to think about that thought for a minute. Any thought that's coming through your mind, a thought you're having about a relative, a thought you're having about what's going on in your life right now, a thought that you're having about a situation or circumstance. It's okay. Whatever thoughts that are coming up for you right now, whatever thoughts that are coming up for you right now, I want you to hold that thought. Hold that thought. Become aware of that thought. Whatever thought you're having right now, keep that thought in your mind. Keep that thought. That whatever you may see it as a worry or a concern or something that you're focused in on right now, I want you to hold that thought in your awareness. And while you're holding this thought that you are aware of, while you're holding this thought in your mind that you are aware of, tell yourself, what is it that you need to tell yourself? This thought about this is not a neutral thought. This thought about this is not a neutral thought. Tell yourself, this thought about this, and you know what the this is. You know what the this is. You go, my thought about this is not a neutral thought. Let me give you an example. This thought about my job is not a neutral thought. This thought about this back pain that I think I have is not a neutral thought. This thought I'm having about what a beautiful day it is not a neutral thought. This thought I'm having about what's going on politically is not a neutral thought. This thought that I'm having about my children is not a neutral thought. This thought that I'm having is not a neutral thought. This thought about this is not a neutral thought. This thought about this is not a neutral thought. This thought that I'm having right now is not a neutral thought. Tell yourself, this thought that I'm having right now is not a neutral thought. The thought I'm having about this right now is not a neutral thought. The thought that I'm having about that right now is not a neutral thought. The thought that I'm having, this thought about that is not a neutral thought. If you're thinking about a person, if you find yourself thinking about a person and you're having thoughts about a person right now, you want to say this thought about this person is not a neutral thought. This thought I'm having about this person is not a neutral thought. If there's a situation or circumstance, you want to go, this thought that I'm having about this situation or circumstance is not a neutral thought. This thought is either true that I'm having right now, or this thought that I'm having is false right now. This thought that I'm having is either bringing me peace right now, or this thought that I'm having is bringing me fear right now. This thought about this is not a neutral thought. This thought about that is not a neutral thought. This thought about them is not a neutral thought. As usual, use today's idea whenever you become aware. What do you want to do? You want to use this idea that I have no neutral thoughts, that you have no neutral thoughts. You want to use that idea whenever you become aware of a particular thought that makes you feel uneasy. Whenever you're feeling uneasy about anything, you want to say, my thought about this is not a neutral thought. The thought that I'm having is I feel uneasy. So my thought about this, or my thought about them, or my thought about that is not a neutral thought. The thought that I'm having about this situation is not a neutral thought. This thought that I'm having is not a neutral thought. Why is it that the thought that I'm having is not a neutral thought? Why is it that the thought that you're having is not a neutral thought? It's because you don't have any neutral thoughts. You don't have any idle thoughts. Every thought that you're having about this situation and circumstance, every thought that you're having about yourself, every thought that you're having about your health, every thought that you're having about your spiritual awareness, none of your thoughts are neutral. Either you're having a thought, either you're having a thought that is true, or you're having a thought that is false. And if you're having a thought that gives you a lot of fear and conflict and worry, then you are having a thought that is false. You're having a thought that is not a real thought. You're having a thought that is not a true thought. But when you find yourself having thoughts, and those thoughts are rooted in some form of peace, in some form of safety, some form of freedom and happiness, then those thoughts are thoughts that are true. Only love is true. Everything else is a call for love. So whenever you're thinking and you're worried and you're concerned, or you get angry or you get upset, realize none of those thoughts are neutral thoughts. Know that those thoughts will determine the world that you see and the world that you look at. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. And the Course in Miracles constantly gives you the kind of thoughts that would give you the kind of joy that you want. So what should you do? You should use this idea every time you become aware of a thought that upsets you or makes you feel uneasy. Do you know that the Course in Miracles represents, the Course in Miracles suggests that you use 4 or 5 practice periods unless you're feeling a lot of strain. But the truth is, you're having thoughts all the time. You're having beliefs all the time. You're having thoughts all the time. You're thinking about this or that all the time. You're thinking about something right now. You'll be thinking about something when we finish. And so all the Course in Miracles is saying to you is to tell yourself, I'm thinking all these thoughts about my mate. I'm thinking all these thoughts about my children. I'm thinking all these thoughts, but these thoughts are not neutral thoughts. I don't have any neutral thoughts. So all of these thoughts that I'm having, these thoughts are going to bring me the love or fear. They're either going to bring me peace or war. These thoughts are either going to bring me abundance or they're going to bring me lack. My thoughts do have effect. Your beliefs do have effects. And there are no exceptions to this fact. Okay. So I'm going to do one of my powerful repetition exercises to help get us to really feel and plug into what this lesson is saying in just a minute. So hang on. I'm a full-time teacher of A Course in Miracles. I do it on a donation basis. If you would like to make a financial expression of appreciation, you can go to my website, www.earlpurdy.com. That's P-U-R-D-Y. You can use Venmo. You can use the Cash App. You can use PayPal. You can use Zelle. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for in advance for sharing with me. All you need is my email address. My email address is earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. earlpurdy@earlpurdy.com. That's P-U-R-D-Y. I'm available for one-on-one counseling, coaching, and mentoring. And so if you like to have what I call a clarity session, where you do a one-on-one with me for whatever situation that you would like to see differently and you like to have healed and see a solution in, or if you would like to work with me and you're sincere about the Course in Miracles and you want to have a mentor, a coach, a teacher, show you how to use it, how to apply it to your day-to-day experience, someone who has had decades of experience working with people with the Course in Miracles, I'm here. I'm available to you. I'm here only to be truly helpful. That's my function. That's why I'm on earth. They're called clarity sessions. Go to my website. You can get more detail about them. You can get more detail, and then you can self-book a session with me right online, right there online, because I want to work with you, especially sincere, serious students of the Course in Miracles, especially. For those of you who are open and receptive to it, I'm also an astrologer and a numerologist. And so those who are open to receiving information through those means, I'm available for that also. I'm here just to be truly helpful. That's what I'm here for. Sundays at 1 p.m. Mountain Time on Facebook Live on the Earl Purdy page. I do another Course in Miracles class online, but you can also attend in person. If you live in the Denver, Colorado area, you can come to 1555 Race Street, R-A-C-E, 1555 Race Street in Denver, Colorado, 80206. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, I do Hardcore Course in Miracles, which is what we're doing right now. That's only online. It's at 7 p.m. Mountain Time on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. I upload all of my classes and videos to YouTube. So I have hundreds of videos on the Course in Miracles on YouTube. And what's great about YouTube is you can control the speed of the playback. So you could listen to a 1-hour class in 30 minutes. Also, you can watch closed caption. Again, I'm here to be truly helpful. So that's what I'm here for. So that's on the Earl Purdy page on Facebook. So I'd like for you now to take a breath and let me finish this up by working this exercise with you. I would like for you to think of something What is it that you're thinking about right now? Do a quick review. You know that situation, that circumstance? Tell yourself, I have no neutral thoughts. 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 You have no neutral thoughts. You have no neutral thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Everything you feel is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Everything you see is the result of your thoughts. Tell yourself, tell yourself, tell yourself, tell yourself. You don't have any thoughts that are big. You don't have any thoughts that are little. You don't have any thoughts that are powerful. You don't have any thoughts that are weak. You have thoughts that are either true or you have thoughts that are false. You have thoughts that are true or thoughts that are false. Thoughts that are true or thoughts that are false. Thoughts that are true or thoughts that are false. Those are the only kind of thoughts you have. Your thoughts that are true, your thoughts that are loving, they create thoughts in their own likeness. But those thoughts that are false, those thoughts that are fearful, those thoughts that are false, those thoughts that are fear, those thoughts that are false, those thoughts that are fear, those thoughts that are false, those thoughts that are fear, they make more of their own. You don't have any idle thoughts. Every thought that you have is either bringing you peace or bringing you war. Every thought that you have is either bringing you love or it's bringing you fear. It's impossible for you to have a neutral thought. Do you know it's impossible for you to have a neutral thought? So don't dismiss your thoughts. Don't dismiss your fearful, angry, upset thoughts about this situation and think that those thoughts are not worth bothering about. Recognize that those thoughts are destructive to your peace. So you have to practice this idea that you don't have any neutral thoughts in many forms. So what do you want to do? Think about the thoughts that you're having right now. Search your mind. Search your mind for the thoughts that you're having right now about this situation, about this circumstance. And then you want to tell yourself, this thought about this is not a neutral thought. My thought about this is not a neutral thought. My thought about this is not a neutral thought. My thought about this is not a neutral thought. This thought is either bringing me peace or this thought is bringing me fear. This thought is bringing me peace or this thought is bringing me fear. This thought is bringing me love or this thought is bringing me guilt. Tell yourself, this thought, the thought that you're having right now, that thought that you're having right now, that thought that you're having about that situation or that person or that circumstance. You know what I'm talking about. You know what you've been thinking about. You want to tell yourself, this thought about this is not a neutral thought. This thought about this is not a neutral thought. This thought about that is not a neutral thought. This thought about that is not a neutral thought. Tell yourself. This thought about them is not a neutral thought. This thought that I'm having about this person is not a neutral thought. This thought is either bringing me love or this thought is bringing me pain. This thought is bringing me joy or this thought is bringing me conflict. Everything that I see is the result of my thought. Everything I see is the result of my thoughts. Everything I see is the result of my thoughts. Tell yourself, I have no neutral thoughts. I don't have any neutral thoughts. You 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 don't have any neutral thoughts. The thought that you're having about this situation, the thought that you're having about this situation, the thought that you're having about this situation is not a neutral thought. You don't have any neutral thoughts. You don't have any idle thoughts. All of your thoughts produce results. All of your thoughts are producing results. Everything that you're experiencing is the result of your thoughts. So you need new thoughts. You need thoughts of love. You need thoughts of truth. You need thoughts of peace. Where are these new thoughts? These new thoughts, for those of you who are Course in Miracles students, these new thoughts are within the Course in Miracles. They're within your path. And there are many ways to get the new thoughts. But the first thing you want to recognize is that your thoughts have power. Your thoughts have power in the sense that your thoughts are false or your thoughts are true. So tell yourself, I have no neutral thoughts. I have no neutral thoughts. I have no neutral thoughts. You 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 have no neutral thoughts. None of your thoughts are neutral. None of your thoughts are neutral. None of your thoughts are neutral. Your thoughts are either bringing you joy or your thoughts are bringing you pain. Your thoughts determine the world you see. Your thoughts determine what you see. Your thoughts are determining what you feel. Your thoughts are determining what you feel. Your thoughts determine everything you see. Your thoughts determine everything you see. Your thoughts determine everything you see. So whenever you have any thoughts, you want to tell yourself what? You want to tell yourself, I have no neutral thoughts. This thought is either bringing me abundance or this thought is bringing me lack. This thought is bringing me a stronger relationship with my Creator, or this thought is moving me away from my Creator. You do not have any neutral thoughts. Mighty companion, this is Earl Purdy. Watch and listen to this at least 4 times. At least 4 times. Please share this video. It's through the repetition. What we are doing is dispelling the belief that you might have that your thoughts do not produce results. This lesson was about dispelling any beliefs that you have that your thoughts don't have any kind of real effect. There is no exception to this fact. Everything you see and everything you want to see is going to be the result of your thoughts. And you are a thought of God. You are a thought of love. You are a thought of peace. I love you. I appreciate you. You are a blessing to me. And may the course be with you. I am reading every one of your comments.